everyone, welcome back to Cowabunga Corner. On this episode, we have with us the stunt double for Michaelangelo in Ninja Turtles 2. Nick, welcome to Cowabunga Corner and thank you for joining us today.
You bet, Michelle. Thank you.
It's a real honor having you here. It's like, wow, you did all that crazy stuff in Turtles 2, which a lot of us love. What inspired you to get into the martial arts that got you to be able to evolve into doing a Ninja Turtle?
Well, I'll tell you, actually, what got me inspired was Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, after 1973, I went, my brother actually told me about Bruce Lee 2 years before that, but in 1973 we went to go see Enter the Dragon. After that, I was in the martial arts school the next week.
When did you start training, and did you try more than one style?
As I mentioned, you know, in 1973 I saw Into the Dragon. The next week I was in a martial arts school. It could have been anything, and I wouldn't have known the difference. I just so happened to get into a kung fu school. It was Doc Bai Wong's Choi Li Foot School in the Sunset District, and so it was a Southern Chinese style.
Okay. Is that the only style you've trained in throughout the years, or have you taken any other sets?
Yeah, I mean, my whole thing was to be the next Bruce Lee, and there was nobody around to teach you to do that. So, yeah, I definitely did take other things. I stayed with Choi Li Foot for 7 years, but within those 7 years, I also wrestled. I did gymnastics. I won a couple Golden Gloves in boxing. And so I was just trying to get that ability to be Bruce Lee, I guess you will, just to be able to, adapt to any situation and to be able to handle myself at any range of fighting. I was stationed in the Army, and I went overseas, and I took up Taekwondo when I was in Korea. I was stationed there for a year, and so that's where my kicking ability came into play, because before that, Southern Chinese martial arts are predominantly, or they were predominantly hand fighting. Strong horse stances and a lot of hand techniques. And boxing, of course, is a lot of hand techniques as well. So the Taekwondo really balanced me out.
With the martial arts, you got into doing stunt work. Now, was Turtles your first stunt movie, or did you do other stunt work first?
Well, yeah, no, actually, in 1978, at the age of 18, they were filming a movie around where I lived, and I grew up in the San Francisco area, Bay Area. They were filming a movie with a guy named Eric Lee, the Little King of Katas. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he was really extremely big, and if you look up, he's done a lot of great stuff in his life. But yeah, and so I tried out for his movie, and actually they hired me as an extra initially, but then as they found out that I could flip and I can do all this stuff here and there, they bumped me up to a stuntman. So that was actually my first stunt gig. It was called Weapons of Death, and it was with Eric Lee and Gerald Okamura. Let's see, Ralph Castro, a lot of local martial artists at that time.
With doing the martial arts and everything, when you were a Ninja Turtle, you were wearing a heavy costume.
Yeah.
So when you got into doing that, did you have previous costume experience?
That's funny you asked that. I mean, yes, no, not to that extent. But, coming up in martial arts in the Kung Fu styles, they had the lion dancing every year during the New Year. So every year, we would either do the parades or do lion dancing to scare away the evil spirits in restaurants and so forth in the Chinatown. So I mean, I got training in that sense, certainly.
Did it help at all with being in the turtle?
Oh yeah, well it definitely gave me the fortitude to stay with it, because certainly, I mean, carrying those lion heads, it's extremely hard on the shoulders and so forth. So it's a little bit different. Everything's very specific, but with the costume being wrapped around in a turtle suit, but certainly it gave me the ability to forge through it and do it.
Did you ever hear of Ninja Turtles before becoming a turtle?
Well, that's funny. I actually saw, the first movie, and I didn't think anything else. I mean, I really enjoyed it, let me say that. It was extremely good, but I didn't think I'd ever be in a turtle movie, to be honest, because I had just moved from San Francisco in 1989. I believe that's when the first one came out, and I was down here, and I went to see that movie, and it was great. And I was here pursuing that, and just so happened, I think fate or luck or whatever put me on that road to become a turtle.
So how did you get the job in being the turtle, the audition and everything?
Okay, well this is the story. All right, as I mentioned, I was living with Eric. He rented a room out of his house, and we had other roommates as well. But we were actually at Black Belt magazine to do articles about him. Since he was the Little King of Kata in the early '70s, and very prominent martial artist. So we were there talking about it, and then and then he mentioned to the editors that I was down here looking for stunt work, and they suggested to me that Pat Johnson, the stunt coordinator for Turtles, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, was looking for a last turtle, which was Michaelangelo. And so they looked at my resume and they say, well, you have a lot of the prerequisites to be this. Why don't you, here's his address, why don't you send it to him, and we'll see what happens. So that next day, that's exactly what I did. I didn't only send it to him, I actually went to his house, dropped it in his mailbox, and then I went home. But and then 2 days later, he calls me up, he asked me a couple more questions. That week, that was Monday that happened. Tuesday, I dropped it up at his house. Wednesday or Thursday, he called me. Friday, I went for an audition in front of him and the producers, and Saturday, I was flying over to England to get fitted for the turtle.
Now, what was it like going to Henson's Creature Shop for that fitting?
Yeah, it was weird. It was surreal in the sense that I hadn't been. The only time I'd been overseas was just military or the Army, so it was a whole different weekend basically. And it wasn't as long as the Army, no, so I didn't have to stay 3 years. But no, I went over just for a weekend, and they picked me up at Eric's house in a limousine. They took me to the airport. They flew me over there at the Henson shop. They had a car and brought me to the place, which was neat. It was really neat. It was in an old house, I guess warehouse, an English warehouse. We go inside. It's nothing, maybe from, I don't know, 100 years old, this warehouse, but it was really beautiful. And just watching and seeing all the stuff that Jim Henson's done. A lot of their props were there, and from their previous films. It was extremely exciting.
What was it like your first day on the set of the Ninja Turtle movie, and did you have a favorite one of the sets?
It was really exciting to be there. I mean, just to meet the rest of the cast members, and we went into the production office. I remember seeing my face, my 8x10 up there along with all the rest of the cast members, and met Steve, and I had known Steve actually before that, but I met Larry Lamb, Hosam Pak. We met briefly, to get fitted, but I finally got a chance to get to know them better, and it was just exciting to be there. As we walked around, they toured us around the different sets, and I remember seeing, wow, just in awe at all the time and energy that was being put into these sets. We have like 5 different sets that we went toured to, and it was exciting. It's hard to say which one was the best one, or the most that I liked. I'm gonna say and go off on a limb is I liked the rooftop though. The way it looked was kind of neat. Although the first opening scene, the mall, that was probably my best set, because you have all these different storefronts built in the set, and it was all right there, and it was just exciting how they put it together and how we were gonna take this and make a movie out of it. And so I think that first mall set was my favorite.
What was it like your first day in the costume?
Okay, when I first, I had taken a couple trips to the Jim Henson Creature Shop, London. They flew me twice there. The first time was get footed for the first time. The second time they had made the cast, and I had my costume actually intact. So we tried it on, and it fit fine. And I tried to kick, and I'm pretty tight as it is because I'm a runner. But I have to do it. I have to stretch a lot just to kind of get good flexibility. I'm not like Stephen Ho, Larry Lamb, or Hosam Pak. These guys are kicking way up there. But I tried to kick, and my kick was even lower than it had been when I didn't have it on. So it was pretty hard to move. You had to really stretch hard to kind of go. And saying that is when I had to do my back handsprings. I mean, it took a lot of energy just to kind of get one off, and then do a couple of them, and so forth. So basically, we just kind of went for it, because you just had to throw your all into that, and just with your training and the repetition, you just landed on your hands, and then kicked your legs over, and you landed, which was basically it. Because it was a blind move going into it anyway, and with those heads on, we made it completely blind, because it was crazy.
Was there any bloopers that you did during the film that really stood out?
Yeah, actually, in fact, in the mall scene, that when we were fighting, it wasn't my particular scene. As you saw, I used not only the cold cuts here, but the yo-yo.
The yo-yo.
Right here. So I had to do a lot of the the work with the yo-yo. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not a yo-yo person. So they actually hired somebody to do yo-yo, but they had filmed me doing it initially, and then they want some more fancier moves. So they hired an actual expert, and he did his stuff, and it was really great to see this guy do the things that he did. Now they noticed when the dailies later on, though, after they hired him and they let him go, basically, that he was right-handed, and I'm left-handed. So they eventually kept what I had did in the movie. But that was kind of a blooper there. But here goes another one, and that was in the mall scene itself. When I'm fighting in the background, I couldn't see, and we couldn't see. So the stunt guys had to be there initially, but initially I didn't realize that. So when I was kicking to take off somebody's head. And I'm sorry for the stunt guys, and especially a lot of Kato was one of the stunt guys that I had hit accidentally, boom, right across the chin, and I gave him a nice bruise there. Thank God, though, he was pretty cool about it, and I was sorry, and later on I was able to pull back, because that was probably the biggest blooper being in that costume for me.
And you had a lot of costume parts. This is the only piece you got to keep of an actual Michaelangelo?
Up until this date, yeah. They had sent me several of these hands just to get used to maneuvering the nunchucks with the hands, basically, because we had to hold them like this. So this is how my hand fit right in there. That's how I had to use them. So yeah, they sent me several of these. This is the last one that I have. And,
an actual Henson arm. Yes, Henson Screecher Shop. Love it. And other costume parts that you have kept, we see the combat cold cuts here. You also have a pair of Mikey's Chucks right there.
Yeah, these were the ones that we put in the leather cases that that he carried in right behind his turtle shell. I had the other one. It's right now being repaired, but this one I have intact. It's a little hot.
And you also have this crew T-shirt and your jacket that you're wearing.
Yep, I sure do. This was the crew jacket exactly that we had. Let me show you the back here. Go. Yep, this was the design. They had several designs for the crew jacket. They came up with this one.
And with the T-shirt, did you have that signed up as soon as you got the shirt, or was that something you did after the filming?
We had received these during the course of the the production, and I kept mine. And I ended up having the whole cast and crew sign it when I left. So I've got anywhere from Pat Johnson to Barbara, which was his assistant, to Roberta Chow, the producer, and you got everybody.
Obata's down here.
Yes, Obata. And we got Stephen Ho, somewhere's on here. I got
and Larry Lamb.
Hosam Pak, he's around as well. I got to look to see who actually I do have on here. But
it reminds me of my autograph shirt. That's all signed up because he's also got it all in the back too. So.
Yes.
Movie production team. Raph is saying I've done a little revision on the script again. Hope it's okay. And then we got I believe Donnie right here going, hey, cut it out. You're hogging my close-up. And then Leo's, excuse me, we need to add more pizza eating scenes to this movie. And Michaelangelo, well, they got Leo saying that, but that's more of a Mikey line. It's got the strap right there. It's Leo. And then Mikey's over here saying, did someone say pizza? Let's go do lunch. So, yeah, that is Mikey. Okay, he's jumping in on Leo.
That's true.
That's awesome.
That was great.
The front of it has a very classic scene that a lot of us know very well. So, this is an amazing shirt and a very cool part to your collection here.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Now,
I'm very proud of that.
Oh, there's good reason to be. Yeah. It's an awesome shirt.
Yeah.
And you did an awesome job on that movie. You followed up and went to Turtles 3 right afterwards.
That's right. Well, the thing is, initially they were going to do Turtles 3 in Canada. And I had gotten a call from Pat Johnson mentioning that they needed 70% of the cast to be Canadian in order to do that. So I basically didn't make the boat on that that third movie. Right, I was bummed, of course. But I realized that, that's how it goes in show business. And so, and to be honest, I got hurt on that second movie, too. I don't know if Stephen Holm or Larry Lamb told me.
I heard about Stephen getting hurt. Is it when that net fell?
Yeah, three of us were in it. Stephen Holm, myself, and Larry Lamb. and Steve had got his ankle because there was a steel frame around this cargo net.
Yeah.
It's supposed to swoop us up about 20 feet off the ground when we go inside, inside the junkyard scene. And it goes about 10 feet off the ground, and the cables actually snapped and dropped us. So Larry Lamb compressed his back. I actually severed my collateral ligament, medial collateral ligament on that.
Oh.
And Steve broke his ankle in 3 places, and they had to actually evacuate him, get him to the hospital immediately because his foot was swelling to the point where he would have lost it if he didn't, they didn't get him out there. So,
wow.
So that was a big deal. In fact, those 2 guys were basically out of the shoot, and we only had just 2 weeks left. We did all the major fight sequences and so forth. I was able to finish
Hosung
it.
Pak, brother, take over
Yeah,
for
Ho Young did, and then there was somebody, I think David Wald for Larry Lamb took Leonardo's place, and then I had a guy named Buzz, I forgot his last name, but anyway, Buzz, how you doing? He was a kickboxer, great guy. He ended up taking the rest of the things that I couldn't do, and a lot of times I couldn't do because every time what I did is if I moved laterally, this thing buckled. So basically, I did my bands. My middle collateral ligament which I didn't realize at the time, but it wasn't there. So I didn't have any support to stabilize the knee. So every time you move sideways, it would kind of come out, and it would just boom, boom, boom. So after we finished the shoot, which I finished, but it was hard for me. After about a month after the shoot, I went to get an MRI and realized that it was severed, and they eventually, went in and cut me up there and stapled it together, and then, I had to walk in a pool for about 6 months and bike ride, and eventually it healed, but at that time I didn't realize it would, and I felt I would really never really walk again. It was just a scary time.
Very, very scary.
Definitely scary, but thank God the body heals.
It's very hard to be hurt, and because when you get hurt, you don't know the situation's going to come.
Yeah, definitely.
So you guys have done it. You've really done it. As soon as you get your leg healed up, you're on the set of Turtles 3. What did you do for that movie?
Well, actually, so anyway, I didn't get the contract for the turtle, but I ended up, Pat called me and mentioned if I wanted to work as one of the bad guys, basically. Now, this was being filmed in Japan, so the thing is, I said, sure, I wasn't doing anything for that summer. I drove up to Astoria, Oregon, where it was shot, and I ended up working, as the bad guy. Now, because it was filmed in Japan, they didn't show my face because of the fact that I wasn't Asian, right?
Yeah.
So they filmed me from the back, and that was fine. I didn't mind that at all. I did get the opportunity to work in the costume of the turtle suit though for 1 or 2 scenes. Actually, one scene was where I slid down in that movie, slid down as Donatello in the suit in the sewer, because what happens on those shoots sometimes, and this happened on the first and probably on the first and probably. It happened on the second, but probably on the first as well, is that sometimes, you have to film, you need a bunch of turtles. Yeah. Because they have to save time and film certain things. So they were using the guys who were contracted, which was Shishiro Nicola, was actually the guy who did the 3rd movie. He was busy doing another shoot, and so they needed another turtle, and so they asked if I could get in the suit, and they just had to slide, 2 of us had to slide down the sewer in that scene, and then fall out of something. So
do you miss being a turtle?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's just to have just to say that you were a turtle inside. Yes. So I did miss it. Yeah, I did miss it. But at the same time, I was a team player, and we have to get the job done.
Oh yes.
And I was glad that they did hire me, and that's what it does sometimes.
Is there anyone that you made friends with on the set of the Turtle movies that you're still friends with today?
Well, it's been 20 years. We have gone different ways in a lot of things, but I do try to keep in touch. I talked to Steve actually maybe the last year and a half, and he's doing really great. I've seen him on the Conan O'Brien show. Hosung Pak, I haven't talked to in about 8 years though, but he's really a nice guy. I really appreciate his talent, and I really respect him and his efforts as a martial artist in person. And the same with Larry Lamb. Yeah, Larry I talked to about a year and a half ago as well. We were going to do put together a run up in the Bay Area. Actually, it was a Bruce Lee run for Bruce Lee's 70th birthday. And so I was putting the route together for the Bruce Lee Foundation. And I called Larry, seeing if they were interested in maybe a few people to interested in running, and he said, sure, he passed on to the school. It never went through, but at least, you know, it was exciting.
It was an effort, yeah.
Yeah, it was an effort, and it was exciting to actually be asked by the Bruce Lee Foundation to put it together, so. And then, let me see, but Mish, I do talk to Mish every now and then. And, oh, but there is one other guy that I actually met on the scene, and it's the guy Razor. I don't know if you've seen that, you know, the Wolverine.
Okay.
The actor. His name is Mark Ginther.
Yeah.
And Mark and I, you know, we met on the set, and we've been in touch ever since. Yeah, I talk to him every now and then. In fact, he just hired me to to play a stunt Roman. He's doing great for himself. He's a stunt coordinator and everything. He's done thousands of movies, maybe not thousands, but he's done a lot of movies, hundreds, if that, you know, maybe 100 or so. But in any case, he's a stunt coordinator. He hired me for John Carter.
In 2009, there was the 25th anniversary tour for the Turtles that went cross country with this turtle van and everything. And in Hollywood, they did this big foot tryout. I went, tried out. I was like one of the first so many people. And then I sat down and watched everybody go through. But I didn't even know that you were there and that you went through until I got home and watched it on video. Did you have fun? How did you hear about this?
I don't even remember how I heard about it, to be truthful, Michelle, but I did hear about it that week, and for whatever reason, I did hear about it. I think it was that Saturday, and I heard about it Wednesday. And so, and to be honest, I had been out of practice. I wasn't in my best form, but I figured, you know, what the heck, I'm not doing anything this week, I wanted to try out. So I did go to tryout, and also to be honest, I didn't realize that it was for the foot, so, you know, tryout. But anyway, it was exciting. It was quite a day like today. It was hot.
Yes.
And it was baking, if I can recall.
Yes.
And I just had these nunchucks that they didn't want metal, and they didn't want real nunchucks, of course, so I had these plastic ones.
You should have brought these.
Yeah, I didn't want to ruin these, though. I'm not saying trouble, but so I put them together with these flimsy, you know, newspaper rope type things, you know, and so I kind of just did some nunchucking, and it was exciting to be there. I saw Ernie Reyes Jr., and I met the producers and so forth, and it was exciting. You know, I like I said, I wasn't in my best form, but it was exciting to be there, and I enjoyed it.
Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you next time. Could you take us out with Cowabunga?
Cowabunga!